Hi guys, my name's Phil. Welcome to Airgun Marksman.
The sunshine, I'm time to know, yeah. Digging myself deep down into a hole, yeah. Searching for fortune, looking for answers, yeah.
We have discussions at the range online with a lot of guys all the time about how far you would take an ethical shot with a sub-12 gun. We'll not get into FAC because that's, you know, as soon as you open the FAC window, you've then got a couple of 100 meters to play with, with a 2.2 anyway, you know. But sub-12, no. So we know from shooting at our range that on a day without wind and rain, etc., we can hit a 4-inch target, a 4-inch gong, at 100 meters with a good rifle 10 times out of 10. The problem we have with sub-12 is because the projectile is so slow, carries so little energy, we struggle with external factors, mainly the weather. You'll all know, you know, you shoot a shot at 40, 50 meters and a gnat farts in the vicinity and it goes off by a mil dot. So that's really what we're struggling with in terms of accuracy at range. So if you're shooting at about sub-12, I say about sub-12, 6 foot-pound is sub-12. When I say sub-12, I mean 11.5-ish up to the 12. And 0 at about 30. Get to 40 on a 2.2, 40 you get 1.5 mil a drop, 50 depending on what you're running, 3.5, 60, 7 mil dot drop. Anyway, it's absolutely dropping off a cliff. Velocity is getting polished off by the tail on that pellet, by that skirt. It's just, pellets are drag stabilized rather than spin stabilized. So whereas a slug, are more of a bullet shaped projectile, you spin it to keep it stable. A pellet, it's shaped like a shuttlecock. So the nose is heavy, tail's light. It's dragging to keep the nose in front of the tail, but because of that drag, it's slowing down really, really quickly. So we then look at muzzle energy. It only takes about 3 foot-pound to penetrate into the brain cavity of a rabbit's skull. So that being said, if my 16 grain 2.2 pellet has still got 3.5 foot-pound at, say, 80 meters, is it an ethical shot? On a perfect day, I'd say yeah, because I've done it and I've done it a reasonable amount. But for me, I tend to go out to about 60 comfortably. If there's a slight wind, I'd bring that back into 40, 50, just because of the way pellets act with a bit of wind. But I don't know if you can hear it. You might not be able to. I've got the wind eliminating hat on my microphone, but there's a little bit of a breeze today. I can see our flags going like the clappers. It's actually just stopped raining, so this is what I've been waiting for. It's been pissing down all morning. It's been horrible. I've been zeroing up on the small range down the side, trying to get my bearings and trying to find, you know, I want to put a good accurate video together for you. So it's no good me shooting at stuff and missing because I've not zeroed properly, because then I would look retarded. So what we're going to do is going to get the gun fueled up. We'll use the Oregon today. I stick a few 100 bar in that, take some pellets out, and we'll sling some lead down here and see if we can get some ethical shots off at longer range. And then I'll leave it to you guys to decide what you think. I mean, I talk to guys every week about what they believe an ethical shot is and where they think you should be shooting out to. Most are saying 30, 35, 40 at a push. I think that's right on an average British day. Because an average British day, you've got wind, you've got rain, you've got all sorts of shit. It's horrible. But I like going out on perfect days. I mean, I do shoot on bad weather days, but you know, sometimes when you're laid there in a field waiting for some rabbits with the sun on your back, you could just nod off. I always shoot prone when I'm out in the field. Laid down there, often with a camo net thrown over me, so rabbits can come out at any range and they wouldn't pay any mind to me. You know, and you see that shot, something creeps out, hops out at 80, and you think, I know my drop for 80. There's literally no wind. I know how consistent the gun is. Should I take the shot? I've done it a few times. Obviously, I've been shooting for about 30 years, and I've made some absolutely mega shots. Obviously, every now and then you have a fuck up. But luckily, I learned about being ethical when I was a lot younger. So I tend not to take a shot for the sake of getting excited and taking a shot. So we're fueled up with coffee. The rain has stopped. It's a bit windy, but let's get on. Right, so we're going to go back to a format which some of you may be familiar with. We're on the big range. What I've done is I've put out some HFT targets, you know, the steel knockdown things, and I've stuck them at various distances. So what we're going to look at doing is, I'm not bothered about trying to hit the little button in the middle. I prefer to leave them stood up and whack them with headshots. So what we'll do is, I'll get the DNT Zulus on, which is fantastic for this. Obviously, because we're going to have a go at things at 30, 40, 50, all the way around the range. And we're going to see if we can clip everything with a headshot, and see what the effective range of our 2.2 in today's conditions are. It's a typical sort of February day. It's bloody cold. There's a right to left wind, which swirls around where the gap in the bank is. It keeps spitting with rain. You might pick some of it up on the camera. You might not. We'll see. But you'll definitely see some bloody flyers today, let me tell you. It's going to be interesting. So I've set the gun up this morning, chronoed it. Had to give it a little bit of a tune with the colder weather. The regulator tends to suffer in this Oregon. So it was doing 565 feet a second from inside the building, sat next to the heater. Lovely. Pop, pop, pop. Exactly the same place at 30, 40, 50. Excellent. And then bring it outside. Had a crack outside. I actually left the gun in here while I went to the loo, answered the phone, did a few jobs. Temperature dropped a few degrees, and I shot a few shots, and velocity's dropped. So has the regulator pressure. I fitted myself, retrofitted a gauge on the side, and my regulator pressure has gone down 6 bar, and the recovery of the regulator is a lot slower in the cold. That's what I've noticed. So as long as I'm aware, I should be able to try and make it work. Modern guns, eh? They're bob on if you know exactly what you're doing with them. Right, so let's have a look. I'll take my zoom off a bit. And let's record. Button at the top, couple of seconds. Pop, there we go. Right, so this is 5 times zoom, as you can see from the bottom corner of the screen. You can see everyone's been having a good time this week on the range. All of these plates that we have around the range will all get painted before the next shoot. But obviously, it's been the weekend. It's now Wednesday, so I'm not running around in the wind and rain painting all the targets today. Someone can do it at the weekend. I'll get Dave to do it. Dave loves it. Cheers, Dave. Anyway, right, so I've left the rifle on its own for a bit while I've run around, set the camera up, painted some targets. So I'm just going to chuck a pellet down. Bugger it. We'll go straight for that crow. That's a life-size crow. Where are we? We'll go 10 times mag. We're already cocked. So anyway, let's give him a shot. It should be somewhere near. So when I was shooting a crow, I'd try and stay away from the beak, obviously, move towards the back, go about where his eye is. Somewhere there, okay? So that's about right. It seemed to go a little high, ever so slightly. That could be due to the length of time that the rifle sat here, and the regulator might have managed to creep up a bar or two while I've been waiting. So magazine back in, always keeping the muzzle pointing down range, obviously. Right, let's have a look then. So that was a bit too easy. A crow at 30 meters, you know, too easy. Let's have a look. What have we got here? Let's put the splash on here. Oh, he's 55. Let's go a bit shorter first. 48. Nah, he's covered in pellets. What have we got? 55. That crow. Oh, someone's already shot that one. 42. Yeah, get that 42. So, as you can see, where has he gone? Right. My reticle is saying it is 7.9 centimeters of drop, which equates to it's about 40 mil per mil dot. So it's about 2 mil dot. So we'll have a look around for wind. It's still going right to left. There we go. A little bit higher, but she did. Okay. Easy shot. So that's 42 meters. We'll zoom out a bit. We'll have a look around. Squirrel's going to be quite challenging out to, now where is he? He's at 50 meters. Shall we try something bigger? What have we got down here? What's that crow doing? 40. Oh, do you reckon we could sneak the pellet under that bar? This is the thing you've always got to consider. Obviously, shooting around the range is a little bit different to shooting out in the wild. But if you're having to thread a pellet between branches and stuff, you obviously need to think about where your crosshairs are. Obviously, my pellet's impact point is going to be at nigh on 2 mil dots at that. But the pellet is going to peak where the crosshairs centralise. So you need to be aware of the height difference. The wind is still going right to left, but it's not overly strong right now. There we go. Bosh, in the eye. As per. Does what it says on the tin. That's what it's supposed to do. So we know this setup here will absolutely assassinate anything out to 40. I mean, we can even try it closer if you like. I mean, what have we got? Yeah. We've got tiny spinners and stuff at... Oh, there's a zombie there. Let's have a look at the zombie. 25. See, the zombie has got a little head, which is about an inch across or something. There we go. Right in the forehead. So we know what it's doing. So we're safe out to 40. We need to look at 45 or so now, don't we? That's 50, that is. That's a little squirrel. That squirrel there, can you see, is buried in the ground. We can only see his head. I mean, he's not a ground squirrel, but we can call him the ground squirrel. Shall we have a stab? So that squirrel there, 50 metres on our, is at 50. 50 metres on our range is directly adjacent to a massive gap between our banks. So the wind passes through there like a good one. That windicator tells me that there's no wind, but that one doesn't. So I'm guessing that ribbon there is soaked in water and it's too heavy. It has been raining today. So what we'll do is I'll hold 50. We'll go for a brain shot, see what happens. Back of the head. So that's the right to left wind that I was saying about. We'll hold it off again and we'll see if we can get a brain shot. Yeah, that's a bit better. More near his eye. Either one of them shots is going to kill it dead. So, you know, so 50 metres, sub 12, on a squirrel's head. Not bad, not bad. So let's keep having a look round. Obviously, people are going to say, you're cheating because you're using the DNT Zulus. It's not cheating, it's making me more effective at pest control. And ultimately, it's making me a more ethical shot. Yes, it does take the fun out of it sometimes in the marksmanship skills, because obviously you spend a lot of your time working out your holds, looking for the wind. But it takes out that one variable where you're at that point where you see a big rabbit come out, you get buck fever, you're getting all excited, you're looking at it, you can't tell how far away it is. You really need to pull a rangefinder out of your pocket. You can do that, you can spook it. So having it all in one on the Zulus, it elevates your shooting game substantially. So any modern pest controller, if they aren't using a piece of kit like this, or this exact piece of kit for shooting in the day and night, they're not going to get down as much quarry as what I would do. No chance. Sorry about the cut in the filming just there. I could hear someone in the range in the clubhouse, and obviously I'd not locked the door. I'd just come down to shoot, left the door unlocked. Someone was wandering around, wanted to know more about shooting. So that's good. So I spent a bit of time doing that. Just a couple of minutes, but I've told them, you know, I'm shooting. So anyway, okay, where was we? Somewhere at 50. Right, let's have a look. So we'll pick up on, look at that plate there. People have been really practicing at 50, haven't they? You got to do well to miss that plate. Right, so we've got a crow at 50. So we'll go for a kill shot then, shall we? So let's have a look at the windicator. Where is he? Where is he? See, it's not doing much. I better press record, don't I? So, that's the crow at 50. The wind, oh, here we go. So I was about to say the windicator's not doing much, but you can see the little flickers. It's a little blustery. So we've got to keep an eye, I've got to keep an eye on that out of the corner of my eye as I'm taking the shot to make sure I use the right hold. Joys of shooting. Okay. So I'm looking at it and it's about 4 o'clock. 5. It's blustery. I'm going to hold about this much for that wind. Okay. A little low. Try again. Ah! And you see there, where I've hit there, the wind did nothing that time. You can see how it's blustery. So the slightest bit of wind is throwing our pellet off 20 mil or something. In that small, at 50 meters. So, and that went over the top. So the wind's doing something fun. Yeah. There we go. That's the shot that we want. But so you can see there how much effect the wind has had only at 50 meters. It's coming in the gap in the bank and it's moving around and it's made us inconsistent. Yes, we've had a couple of kill shots, but on a day like today, it's questionable whether you take that shot or not. I mean, we missed one, so that's not bad. If we missed another way and it went down into a body shot, then we'd potentially have to follow up with an extra shot, which makes us a bit less ethical. But if you are doing pest control and you're just ripping pellets at animals because they're causing a nuisance, then, you know, crop damage, shitting on everything, you know what it is. Follow the general license for more information. Okay, so that's 50. I'll have another go. Look at the wind doesn't look. I should have really put a camera on that windicator. And that one's gone over the top. See? It's... There you go. And that went there where the last pellet went. Okay, so I'm aiming... You can see where I'm aiming there. We're consistently getting shots down here. So that wind is going like that. Okay, let's see what I'll do further out. So, what have we got? So he's at 60. We've got a few over here. Where's this fella? He's 60. Rangefinder says so. Right, okay. Let's go for it. I'm going to go straight down the pipe. See what happens. Boom. Headshot. So, and that's waiting for the wind straight down the pipe. So, I don't know if, I mean, there's a slight breeze, but I don't know if a 2.2 would have got hammered like that or not. A 177 would have got that down. What's that fella down there? 47. Oh, above his head. I bet he's not 47 then. Where is he? 44. Let's have a look. Yeah, so he's 44. And that was a back of the head shot, next shot. That'd see him down. Okay. So you might see that I'm using the black reticle today. That is mainly because when I stick it on the bright orange plates, it's our fault with the paint, really. We use bright orange plates just so that when the light dips down on an evening, you can still shoot, and the guys that don't have night vision can still pick up where the pellets are going. Plays havoc with night vision scopes and digital scopes on a whole. It makes the picture a little hazy. You can probably tell. Small prices we have to pay. So, right, so we've successfully taken some creatures down out to 60. Let's just bring it back in again, just in case. That fella's at 40. Let's give him one. Okay, so we are sniping. Oh, there's that little jaunty looking crow. How far is he? 66, 67 it says. Looks a little further than that to me. Anyway, reload. So the aim of today really is to show you guys how capable a SUB12 is at 12 foot-pound. So you can see so far, this thing, when it's not blowing a gale, will headshot a crow and a rabbit or whatever, up to 60 meters so far. And at 60, I think, I'll check when we get in, but I think you've still got 7 foot-pound or something. And that's more than enough to penetrate the skull of a rabbit or a pigeon or a crow to finish it off. I think what we're realizing though is that you need perfect conditions. The wind plays a massive factor in SUB12 air gunning. So that crow there, if you see this wind indicator, that's not the one we need to look at. We need to look at that one. Look how it's gusting a bit. I'm going to send one straight down the pipe. See how far off to the left that went. So, hold off. Boom. Dead. So that's 67 meters. Okay. So obviously I've got all my ballistics put into the scope, which makes this job a lot easier. But you can see that whole shot cycle I did there. I used the rangefinder, adjusted the reticle to what the rangefinder says. It's an automatic thing. You just press a button. Then I held off. I gave it about a mil dot for the wind, pulled the trigger, and it went directly, the shot went directly in line with where my reticle was. So, excellent piece of kit. So that's 67 with a little bit of wind. So we need to now go to, what, 70? 75? We must have something at 75. Let's have a look. Oh, how far is he? $77. That's a fair old flog, that is, isn't it? So 77 meters is actually 77 centimeters drop, which works out to be about 10 mil dots. Okay, so 10 mil dots. If you're not an airgun shooter and you are a centerfire shooter, and you're shooting deer, are you ever going to use 10 mil dots a holdover? Fucking doubt it. This is sniping at its finest. So we're looking at the wind. The wind's a bit gusty, right to left still. We know that we want a mil dot at 65, was it 67? So we're going to give it another mil dot again. Ta-da! Don't know. Let's try again. I think more for the wind. Oh, I saw where that went. I went either side of the rabbit's head. I think we might have found our furthest point for today. Shall we go straight down the pipe? See where that went off to the left? I saw the splash. Boom. Okay, so 75. We've had a headshot. It's a little bit high. I think that might have skimmed his hair. But if I remember rightly, that little rabbit silhouette is actually really quite small. We'll go down and have a look in a minute. So at 77, bloody wind. We might have met our match. So I'm watching that grass as well now. So our bank goes down to 35, 40. There's a bit of a gap out to 50 where the wind tends to come through. Then it goes right down to about 80, and then there's another gap again. But it often causes a bit of a loop of air. I should really have more wind indicators down the bottom end of the range. Boom. So you see that shot there? I had the quick look at the wind indicators and they were down. So I thought, right, I've got half a second. I'm going to have to pull it. Mega. Okay. So that's the dead rabbit at 77. We'll ignore all the times I missed it. Yeah, but we have definitely met our match at 77. So for 77, your sub 12 pellet, if you're running at about 11.5, between 11.5 and 11.9, 12, with the ballistic coefficiency of these pellets, which are at this speed, because the ballistic coefficiency is variable, I think it's 0.031. We've measured it previously. And if you don't know to do that, you shoot it over a chrono here, take it down range, shoot it over a chrono at distance, and you can calculate the resistance. Anyway, I want to shoot further because we are getting some top quality sniping in today. I think we can do a bit more. So I want to go for smaller targets. Oh, hang on. No, we don't want to go for smaller targets. Okay, so you're still watching on the camera, that's cool. So we have got a rabbit out at 94. So about 1.5 meters a drop. Now, what I like about this shot is I'm going to change the reticle colour to white. Yeah, we'll change the reticle colour to white so we can see how much we actually have to hold. So that's telling us 94, so we'll go with that. Look where that reticle is. That is the drop we need at 90 meters. I believe sub 12 at 90 meters, ballistically with this pellet, you're going to be 2 foot-pound. And the pellet is literally falling out of the sky at that kind of angle at this point. It's not going a nice curve. After 50, it drops off a cliff. It really does. So at this point, the pellet is doing a couple of 100 feet a second. You can see in the bottom right corner of the screen, the wind indicators going. We've also got to shoot over the top. You see, if I'm aiming at that rabbit's head right now, the pellet is going right over the top of all those targets and dropping in. This is going to be a challenge. Shot of the day. So we look at the wind indicator. I'll zoom in a little bit. Sharpen the picture up. Let's send her in. Passed. And at this distance, it's quite hard to see where the pellet's missing by, you know. I'll go straight down the pipe, we'll see. I'm watching the wind, it's being consistent. I'm holding off even more. Oh, that hit there. So we're going to go up a bit higher. So that was a shoulder shot. So congratulations, you've just injured a rabbit. It's now hopping around. It's squeaking, it's squawking. You're now going to have to run down there, get close and give it another. Right. Get excited, I've already cocked it. So look at that wind indicator, giving it the big one. I will wait. Miss. Okay. So sub-12 definitely doesn't like being out there at 100 yards. It doesn't like it. I mean, it'll do it. But look at the wind. Where's the other wind indicator? So the close one is not doing much. Oh, the wind's changed direction. Okay, straight down the pipe. I don't know if you heard that. That made a massive bong. We need to go check that out. I'm going to send a couple more down. Hopefully, the wind is going to stay where we want it. Oh, no, it's already going. But this is what it's all about. I urge people to do this kind of shooting a lot. It gets you comfortable with different ranges. You get to know your pellet's characteristics, especially if your gun, like mine, is fussy and likes 1 or 2 pellets. You get to know the slightest bit of wind, the reaction of the pellet, so then it makes you a better judge of external factors when you're actually out in the field. I really don't understand guys that don't get any proper range time, that get all the equipment, that spend thousands on gear, and then they go out and they stand in the corner of a field and try and knock rabbits off. They just can't be efficient. Without this kind of training regularly, you cannot be good. You need to put in the time. Really do. Right. Okay, so the wind indicator again, where is he? Ah, it's changed again. Well, we'll send one down and then we'll have a look. Yeah, hit. Impact. 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 Miss. Impact. 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 Now, that'll do. I'm not going to do any more. So, we know exactly where we are good to and where we're not good to. Let's have a wander around the range. All the targets we've shot at were freshly painted by me 10 minutes before turning the camera on. So at least we're going to know 100% where we've hit. Let's get out there. Right, so this is the tricky bit. I've gone and got you on my big long stick, which is quite heavy. Oh, I left the gate open. Safety not first. So yeah, I don't have a big long selfie stick because they just flex and wobble around like hell. So I fold up all the legs on my tripod and have to hold it out like that. So I'm going to try not to get the shakes. We'll have a little walk around and we'll see where we manage to impact whatever targets. So I think we got one on the zombie at 25. We brained him there. As you can see, 25. There's the shed that we were shooting in. So not bad. We went out to 30. The crow at 30. There you go. Dead. So we're looking really for unquestionable deaths, aren't we? Unquestionable shots. So it's a day like today, a bit of a breeze, you know. So this is our 40-metre plate. There you go. I think you'll agree. Well dead. 40. So where did we have at 50? Looking around, there's so many plates we haven't hit. Oh, there's a rat at about 50 as well. We could have got that. Yeah, okay. Here's another, what's he, 45 or something? Dead. It's hard to tell with some of these. We got him a couple in the Swede. Again, 40, 45-ish, something like that. So here we've got our accuracy and consistency. We're then getting out to 50 odd. So this is the 50 line here. So I'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we have 55. So with the wind today, 55 metres, it's a fucking good show really, isn't it? We didn't shoot him. What's this one at? Right, so we're now down to about 57, 58. Bosh, bosh. Oh, that was right. We clipped him in the back of the head as well. So you can see it's all left to right there. And the wind isn't massively strong. You can see it's blowing my shirt a little bit, but it's not, it's gusty. It's strong enough. Now we get down to, what's this, 68, nearly 70. Crow, eyeball, dead. So if this was a little shooting trip, we'd be relatively successful. Now, we got the little rabbit that was at 75. We had a couple of shots on him. I wasn't quite sure what was happening. We had a couple of shots go over the top. And I think with what the wind's doing, it was going right to left. And then it ended up going straight down. Then it went right to left again. It's going right to left again now. But look, where is it? Where's our flag? You can see our flag in the top corner, up there. It's going off in a totally different direction. So it's a bit tricky. Anyway, this is 75. So we got brained him. There's been a skim there, which I didn't notice. But this, look at the size of my hand. So this whole rabbit, it's more like the size of a big rat, in all honesty. It's not like, so it's a juvenile rabbit. It's not a baby rabbit, it's juvenile, I think, the size of that. So we've done really well, given the wind. Then we just went balls to the wall, didn't we? And decided to take on that, what was he, about 100 yards, 93, 94 metres, I think, the furthest one. There was literally no shots on this rabbit. I painted it this morning. There was a couple of misses, granted. But he's, he is peppered. He is fucking peppered. Check that bad boy out. So, I remember that shot because that was the first one that we sent, and I corrected, brought it up. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, Oh, there's 3 there. 5, 6, 7. That's consistency for you. 8, 9, 10. That is, and this is actually a 6mm steel target that I made myself. That is more like a rabbit. So now this is a problem, because I go and have 12 shots at this rabbit, and obviously there's the little body shoulder shot there, which is bad. It's a limping rabbit. That's the one I mentioned about. But we've then got nearly a full magazine in his head. There isn't enough muzzle energy at this distance. Do you see where I've been shooting from, that little shed there? There isn't enough muzzle energy from this distance to kill that rabbit. It's 100 yards, 93, 94 metres, with a bit of wind. The gun is very consistent. It's very accurate. We're just always fighting with external factors with SUB12. Well, you can see my flag, look. Where is he? Up there, above my head, flapping away like a good one. And this is why I wear this fluffy thing on here, or else you'd not hear me for all the bloody wind. So, not a bad few minutes shooting, really. And this is what I enjoy about the sport. I can spend hours on the range like this in even more challenging conditions than this, and send pellet after pellet after pellet after pellet, trying to get my eye in different conditions. Yeah, look at it, it's windy. And trying to make myself a better shooter, so that the odd times where I do get to go out and knock over some rabbits and pigeons and whatever, I can use my knowledge of the wind and the little bits of hold I've had to do just to get a kill shot. Now today, I've been really surprised actually, especially with the low BC of those pellets at 0.031, that we've only been having to hold, for the wind that's going on, we've only been having to hold about a mil off. So that is actually really good. And I am super impressed with that 100 yards group in there. So the Oregons, AGTs in general, they're built for range. They are built for range. Those CZ barrels are amazing. They are absolutely amazing. So yeah, I would recommend them to anybody. But you need to be good with regulator tuning and stuff, because they do tend to get a bit of creep. You need to know what your PCP is doing in different temperatures. This goes for all brands of airgun. If you've got a regulated airgun, oh, sorry, holding a tripod. If you've got a regulated airgun, you need to have a reg gauge on it for the plenum pressure. Because I look at my plenum pressure all the time, and if it's 30 degrees outside, it could be 100 bar. When it gets to sub 10 degrees Celsius, it could be 80 bar. And that plays a big factor in the way that your air guns are going to perform in the field. So luckily for me, I'm relatively good with tinkering, and I can then adjust the gun to suit, adjust the scope to suit, and make use of it. But some people who aren't quite as au fait with the inner workings of an airgun would struggle. So for what I would say is, external factors play a massive part in airgun shooting. The obvious wind, rain, etc., but temperature is massive. First thing this morning, when I came down here, I was shooting from indoors in the clubhouse on the smaller range, using my 18 grains at 5.52, and they were shooting amazingly. And then I came out here, gun got cooler, temperature dropped, and it hated the 5.52s. I had to go down to the 5.51s and switch over the ballistics to the 16 grain 15.89s. So I think we've made a little bit of headway with our knowledge. I hope we've learnt a bit today. I know I have. I do every time. And look at those skies. So I'm going to escape because I don't want to get piss wet through. I'll just remind you guys, it's the British Shooting Show this weekend. I'll be there setting up Thursday with DNT. I'll be there Friday and Saturday. I've got to disappear Sunday though. I'm working away next week. So I've got to jump on a plane. But if you're not planning on coming to the shooting show, really consider it, because anything and everything that's going to be new for this next year is going to be there. There's going to be some fantastic new developments from DNT. They've got some amazing new little scopes coming out, some glass scopes, some more digital stuff, some really exciting digital stuff actually. I know there's a little scope coming out which is fantastic for real close quarters stuff, for like your rats and pigeons in sheds and stuff, little night vision job. It's a tiny little thing, it is. So I want to be having a dingle dangle with that at some point. So yeah, it's going to be a real good weekend. Get yourself down there. Come see me on the DNT stand. We'll have a chinwag for a bit. Come give us a cuddle. Maybe bring me a coffee. treat me to a bacon butty or something, or I'll treat you. Come tell me something if you know anything that I haven't considered about anything that we cover on the channel, stuff that we talk about, stuff that like we say, contentious issues about shooting, especially with SUB12. Come let us know. Let's have a chat about it. Let's slash it out. People don't talk enough these days. So let's have it out. Look forward to seeing you. Catch you in the next one.
Been round the sunshine, enough time to know, yeah. Digging myself deep down into a hole, yeah. Searching for fortune, looking for answers, yeah. Oh, but I got a feeling this goes on forever, yeah. Working ourselves to the bone, away from home, yeah. Jump on my train, on my way back to my baby. Wake up your dream boy.